This meeting is being recorded.
All right, Mr. Mann. What do you say?
We'll do a quick opening round and then
Get on with it.
we'll go do what we need to get done. Since
Okay, and
some people haven't made it. So opening round question.
Oh, opening round question is, without telling anybody where you were born, what is your town or city what is that town or city famous for? And it could be someone famous who was born there or went to school there or whatever. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to
Yeah, I'm
think.
gonna let you think, but I'm gonna give you.
Michael will give you his.
Well, no, you go,
Oh,
because
okay.
you have
okay.
yours.
I have mine. My clue is Joni Mitchell is, that is right?
Yeah,
Joni Mitchell is from here,
from there.
from there, sorry. For those of you who know who Joni Mitchell is. Not everybody does, but
This is Derek from Sioux
So-
Falls, South Dakota.
do we get to
And
guess or
yeah, you guys get a
to-
few, you get 4 guesses and then I tell you if you guys are right or then I'll tell you.
she was born in Canada?
Yeah. So it's somewhere in Canada, but
Where do
where?
where in Canada though, Bob?
In the hospital in Canada.
Okay,
What-
yes.
what
What
town?
province? What province and what city or town?
I'm gonna let someone else guess that.
Can I
Oh.
Google?
Yep.
No,
No Googling
I
allowed.
don't know who Joni Mitchell is.
Oh,
She's a
okay, I
singer
will give you, then
that
that's
old
fine.
people know.
I will give you a clue. She is a very,
high music artist.
very famous music artist from like the 60s,
70s, yeah.
yeah, 60s, 70s. So it may, for some of you, may be slightly before your time.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Jeff, do you have a guess?
Jeff, you're on mute
you're on mute, Jeff.
and you're still on mute.
Does that mean I get 3 guesses? Because I
No,
said
you
it.
get one guess.
Yes.
I know Toronto.
No.
No.
Oh man, that's the only city I got. I don't know if I know.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you guys a clue, and then don't say anything. And Mike, can you be quiet too? It is west of Toronto.
Is it Fort McLeod, Canada?
No. Okay.
Okay, I will tell you guys, it is Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Oh,
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Eric, I'm so impressed. Fort McLeod, I'm an Alberta girl. And
Good,
who knows
good, very
Fort
good,
McLeod?
very good guess though, very good guess though.
I think we have more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was-
you wanted to go next?
Oh yeah.
Very
sure.
good guess. Okay. You want
So
that, Russ? Go ahead.
it just,
Who wants- Okay. you-
sometimes I get emotional about this, but just think about it.
Okay.
So if you could imagine that if you're going through a hard time when you like artists from, Christian music or country, whatever it is, music, have you ever heard of the country band by Garth Brooks? He's the guy that he came to Sioux Falls for that tour, for that farewell tour, whatever it is. He did a song called Friend Low Places. And then Casting Crowns has another good one, Until the World Hears. That's another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Derek has a guess in here.
Lynn, what do you think of good artists or different guests that you might have.
When I think of country music, I think of Nashville.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we close, Derek?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
All
I
right.
Yeah,
think-
Nashville?
Nashville? You were born in Nashville, Tennessee? Cool.
No, I'm talking, I was born in Mitchell in 1985 here in Mitchell, South Dakota.
Oh, you were, okay.
So the
cool.
home of the Corn Palace. huh?
Yes.
Oh.
And
okay.
have you heard of Willie Nelson? He came to
Yes.
Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Willie's
okay,
down
I
here in
see what,
Texas.
okay, I see.
Okay, who
where
wants to
you
go
were-
next?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. How about Lynn?
Let me get some.
You're on mute.
I was cheating. I was Googling my hometown, and what is it famous for? But I do know one thing. It's considered the softball capital of Canada. Tournaments.
Mm,
It's a
Oh,
softball tournament
Oh,
in
yeah.
Canada for softball. But who in the hell would know that, right? So
You'd be surprised what people.
Miss Alberta girl.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think.
and I'll give you another, it's West Central Alberta. It's 120 miles from Edmonton, which is our capital city.
Miles.
It's in between
Oh.
Jasper
Oh,
and
Red
Edmonton.
Deer.
It's in between Jasper, where all
Yep.
the Rocky Mountains are,
mhm.
Yeah.
and Edmonton.
Okay, so.
And it's known for
okay, that's under the
oil.
mountains.
Oil and gas.
Fort McMurray,
Oh, you're going way too north.
way too north. Oh, okay.
Come on,
Shoot.
Alberta girl.
I know. When she said the oil and gas, that's why I said Fort McMurray. Oh, come on, Brian.
Okay, I'll tell you because it's a town. It's not a city. Okay, so it's Edson, Alberta.
Oh, Edson. Okay, yeah. And Edson. So.
Calgary's about it for me with Alberta.
Okay,
Okay.
I can go, Lynn, if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So this place is very much well known for the snowbirds
Practices.
practicing and Air Force Base.
Oh, no, dear, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Lynn, you're gonna have to
Bob?
guess this one. I have no clue.
Got me.
Okay, so it is on Vancouver Island.
It is, so that kind of narrows geographically.
Is it a Esquimalt?
No,
Nope,
Oh,
that's the naval baseline, but
That's
very
a
good
naval-
guys.
Upper Island, Lynn.
Upper Island. Like the northern, I'm not totally northern part of the island, but.
Lynn, an hour from Nanaimo and about half an hour from Campbell River.
Boy, you guys came up with a tough opening round question.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
So what is it?
It's Comox.
It's come.
oh, I know that.
Comox? So the opening round question is, without telling anyone where you were born, what is something about that place that would help people guess it?
What is, yeah.
I'll go.
Go,
Okay,
Bob.
go Bob.
It is the home of Dr. Seuss and the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Ooh. I was gonna say Ohio, but
No.
that's a rock and roll.
Chicago?
No,
Is it Detroit?
no.
Not LA.
What do you think, Jeff?
Base-
I should know that, but I don't. I should. You know,
New York?
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Oh,
Oh.
Springfield.
That's where Dr. Seuss is from.
Oh, crow, that's East
Wow.
Coast.
All right. What do you think, Jeff, for your
okay,
round?
so I bet this is an easy one for some of y'all. There's the city where Haight Ashbury was.
Oh,
Who?
Are you going to?
Massachusetts.
No,
no.
I sang the song. You just had to say, "Are you going to?"
Scarborough Fair.
Oh, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. I know the song, just, I, yeah, run.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Um,
Kathy,
Kathy? Oh, Kathy gets to go.
you're on mute, Kathy.
Unmute.
I don't know how y'all gonna get this, but two, I don't know if y'all watch American football,
Yep.
but there have been the two greatest kickers in the NFL, and they both came from my hometown. And I think both of them played for Denver, I believe, both of
Oh,
them.
yeah, yep.
Denver.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's it.
Got me. I was
New
gonna say-
Orleans?
New
No.
Orleans?
Denver?
I'll give you another clue. It's you probably never heard of it. But South Georgia,
Oh,
South Georgia, United States.
Valdosta.
Huh?
Valdosta.
You remembered.
That's
Very
it.
good.
all right. Thanks, Kathy.
Kevin?
Kev, do you, and then,
So this should be an easy one, but I'm about to make it hard for you all. So a famous actor who is well known and plus was on Marvel's he was on Marvel Studio. He visited the place that I'm pretty much from.
Okay, okay. I bet I seen the Iron Man movie. Give us another clue, Kevin.
So this actor is well known pretty much for his personality, and he was on
So, Kevin-
multiple great movies.
You can tell us who the actor is because we need to get some.
yeah, you could tell us who the
some
actor is.
places.
Oh, okay. So Chadwick
Yeah.
Boseman.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great
Okay,
actor.
thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Black
Sorry about
Panther.
that.
Chadwick Boseman's from there.
Black Panther.
Shelby, how about for you? What?
Well, let's figure out where it is.
no, Sean hasn't been yet.
I'm guessing it's somewhere in the DC area.
Americans and Canadians together.
Guess it would be DC area, Kevin?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So before
What is it, Kevin?
Oh, so he's Washington D.C. So one for me, so I pretty much born and raised in Washington D.C. But one of Chadwick Boseman, before he passed away, he attended Harvard University for the class, so pretty much for the graduation.
Cool.
Which, I found that to be really cool.
Yeah, me,
Yep.
that's
All right, thanks, Kevin. Shelby,
Hey,
Shelby,
I can't find my mute button. Takes me a long
those
time.
darn glasses.
I know. They're in the way. So I have two hints.
Okay,
So it was the first truck farming industry. And the second hint is if you know Johnny Horton, he's a singer, he died there.
oh,
Michigan?
No. I wish I was from Michigan.
Atlanta?
Yes. But
Atlanta.
you know me, Kara.
Oh, Atlanta. So another Georgia girl.
Oh, no, not Atlanta.
Oh, not
Milano.
Atlanta? Oh,
Atlanta.
What
It's
was
about
it?
this big. About this big.
Milano, Texas.
It's a little bit bigger than a blink when you go by.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Kara,
Karen,
Okay, so I actually have two as well. The first one is there is a upcoming country artist by the name of Cody Johnson who grew up here.
and
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna see if I can catch that one first, then I'll give you all the second one.
okay.
okay, I'm guessing Texas area,
Yes,
Dallas,
mm-mm.
Austin?
Houston,
Close.
Is it Dallas,
Austin?
Texas?
It's not Dallas.
Sebastopol,
No.
right?
Wait, what?
That's where Cody's from.
Cody Johnson, what did you say now?
Is it Sebastopol or however you say it?
No.
College
What is the
Station.
other clue?
yeah,
College Station.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll give you all the college. How about that one? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, Sam Houston.
All right. thank
Amy,
you.
Amy.
Amy.
Huntsville.
Huntsville, you got it.
Also
Yeah,
known
that's
for its
it.
prison. Yes.
Absolutely. The big prison. Yeah.
What's the name of it again?
Huntsville.
Huntsville?
Huntsville. I
it's
could,
a,
I could not think of the name.
question.
this
is. Oh, this is
I
fun.
could not-
So that's where I lived for the first 21 years of my life anyways. So that's what I'm fun.
Amy Day, it's your turn.
Okay, so my hometown is named after a famous explorer.
who's the explorer?
Well, if
That's
I tell you the
yes.
explorer, then I'll give away
Ah,
the
gives
name.
away the city, so just
But
shush.
I'll skip the first part of his name. The first part of his it's Blanc de Leon. He's a famous Spaniard, and he went in search of the Fountain of Youth, right? And ended up
Oh,
where I live in the city that I was born is named after him.
ooh, okay, Fountain of Youth.
So it's not a state in the United States. It is a part of the
okay.
United States, but not a state.
Right.
Oh,
Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands somewhere.
You're close.
Puerto Rico?
Yes, I am Puerto Rican. Let's see if you can figure out the city. So Blanc,
Okay.
So is it
his
Ponce?
first name is the name
It's
of my
Ponce.
city, De Leon.
Ponce de Leon.
Ponce
Yeah,
de-
Yes.
Yeah. And in,
You got it. I'm from Ponce,
Tallahassee?
Puerto Rico.
is it from
Oh, I
Tallahassee?
did not know that.
Good job, Jeff. You got it.
No.
say the name
Okay.
again.
The name of the Spaniard is Ponce de Leon.
Oh,
It's
Ponce
not-
de
That's kind
Leon.
of fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's the Fountain of Youth.
I'm
Yeah,
from
that's
Ponce,
from you.
Puerto Rico.
It's the Fountain of Youth, and I drank from it. It isn't doing any good.
All right, I guess now we're done. So we get to go into our rooms and we'll leave that to Bob. Taking us out into breakout rooms.
Okay, so last time we talked about focusing on the slideshow first. There's 5 people wanted to be part of that. Kara, Amy, Derek, Jeff, and Shelby. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And seeing as this is the first thing we need to focus on, what if we all just worked on the slideshow together to get started? Think
Yeah,
about
Yes,
I
what
sure.
we
was
wanna do
just
with
about
that.
to say that, actually.
That way I can share the screen. And the Texas folks can walk us through it. And we can see where we want to make changes.
Kevin and I spent a little bit of time, it was him and I, we talked a lot about other stuff, but promotion and getting to know each other. But one thing that he reminded me of is the trajectory,
Right.
which is not in there. So as we go through, we may want to think about where that would drop best. So, but some really good promotion ideas, leave behinds, brochures. If you've seen Kevin's brochure, it's really good. Did I miss Kevin? Good, I'm good to go. Okay.
Okay. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought I'd keep it in the notes view so we can just add notes if we want to.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So overall, folks, this is it geared toward transition age students? Has that been the focus of this slide deck?
That was, it seems like that was the focus of Texas.
Well, let's have Texas give us some information about that.
And there is one that, and Amy and Shelby and y'all jump in, but the first one we did was based is directly on the most recent People Planning Together slideshow that we had, which
Okay.
was 2009 or 12.
That would have been the most current.
There's been another one since, I know in 18 or so, but anyway, so we based it on that. There is another one that is focused on employment outcomes specific to young people in transition. It was called Whose Life Is It Anyway? But it followed this, but it was more specific to employment. But the one I think we're looking at is outcomes that are not just employment focused. In fact, you'll see some that are Shelby's or there maybe somebody else's that aren't about that. So
Okay.
this is the one that I would say is what we pulled together based on the process as a whole, not focused specifically in one area.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, we've used it with adults, and then we've also used it with, Shelby and I used it last week with 14 to 17-year-olds.
Great. Okay. So cover page probably isn't going to change. I think everyone liked this video.
Mhm.
It's My Life.
I think the only comments I have about that video is there are a couple of videos that do not have words. And so I kind of give a description of the video and then we watch the video. So we tried really hard not to have videos that didn't have words on them, but I want to say there's maybe 2.
I think just 2. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things we tried to do, guys, was for every different, not necessarily module, but every new thing that we were teaching, we wanted to put a video in front of it. So there could be conversation about it. So this was one that kicks it off with, when we start talking about, whose life is it, whose plan is it? And it's the very beginning. So we want to set a tone of, this is who it's for. It's not about me. It's for people out there who are participating in the training.
And is this the via Mr. Johnson video?
This is the beginning video of the young lady who's in the chair. And it talks about who gets to decide what I wear each morning, who gets to decide where I go. It's me. So I think this is the one where they're not talking and it's just words on the screen. Am I right, Amy?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. And then we give the agenda. That's probably not going to change. Important information. Okay, so you look at this meeting is recorded. If people need closed captioning, it's on your toolbar. So whoever's doing the training would need to make sure that there's closed caption capability.
Mhm.
And everyone, and again, this is for a remote version.
Yes.
If we're
Sure.
in person, it's gonna be a little bit different. So we want to make sure it's the same version. So we may want to have 2 slides. It looks like you've got one that's for in person and one that's for remote. And you can
They're
hide ones you
they're
don't need.
both for remote. It's just one was if we're not recording and the other one if we were.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was just saying we have another slide, so maybe there's 3 slides. We hide if we're in person. We hide the
Oh,
remote
okay, sorry.
ones.
Yeah.
We hide the in-person one if we're doing remote.
Yeah.
Yes, sounds good to me.
I agree.
Okay. Agreements.
Mhm.
This looks like it would work in both remote or in person.
I agree with that as well.
Okay.
And we also, I think, maybe does it say it in the note? When we go over this slide in person, we always tell our students that it's okay if you know, just like we say, take care of yourself. You know, they're allowed to doodle, they can draw, they can do whatever they need to do to help themselves focus.
The phone's text, is that just enough, or does or do you explain that there's no texting?
Well,
Right, we do explain.
yeah, down at the bottom, it has the notes where it says, please turn your phones on silent. So we explain that.
But sometimes, I was just thinking that sometimes people don't read, you know, how they will look at things and they will not see it, or they'll just look at the listing and they won't look at anything else.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
So we may need to remind them.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Then we can make someone the phone police. No,
Oh,
no, don't do that.
No.
Okay.
Like add a phone with a red with a red slash or something.
Oh, yeah, could do that.
Picture, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
What we've had to do, just back to the phones, is with this day and age of technology and stuff, we have to really understand that some people take their notes on their iPhones. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to bother with that, but just, we really make it clear that it's okay, because we don't want people, if that's the way they can take notes the
Yeah.
best, to feel bad, right? So
I agree with Will on that. Yeah.
we do mention that.
Right. So we just don't want people texting or making phone calls during the class.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or step outside. Like for me, this is Derek anyway. I would suggest step outside for conversations like calls or whatever you
Okay,
want.
that's a nice way to handle it. Yeah. Okay, and then the binder. So if we're in person, what do you do remotely? Do you send them the materials electronically, or do you send them a hard copy workbook?
So I make a copy, an individual copy for every participant. And then I have a Word doc that has their name and their link to their own plan. And then that way, when we're training, if somebody needs to provide any written support or writing support, then you can go in a breakout room, and then one of our support people can click on the link, and then they have access right away and they can go in there and edit it.
Is that
And then
That's a Google Doc?
Right, it's a Google Doc. Yeah. So the way we created it is that it's a Google slide. And so the only reason we did it that way is so that we could go in and edit it and not have, we were having issues with students like accidentally deleting words from the plan, or, you know, issues with formatting, getting all messed up, and then we were having to go back and fix it. So then I did it as a Google slide where the plan is a picture itself, so they can't change anything to it whatsoever. And then there's text boxes. And there'll be a little X, so that way I can just say, okay, now click on the X in the box, and then you can start typing. The downside with that is that it is not accessible. You know, if somebody was using a screen reader, then they wouldn't be able to read what the actual plan says. They would only be able to read what they wrote. But that's the way that worked for us. And then we can, they have the link to it. And then I also send it to them as a PowerPoint presentation, because all you do is just download it as a PowerPoint, and then they can
Right.
show it as a slideshow, and then they can also have it as a PDF.
Yeah, one of the things that Amy and I worked on the other day was the handbook. So we finished out their module 3 and 4, and there would be an option for that hard copy to be sent in a PDF too. And so what we've done with the binder is include the hard copies, and the Google file has the same copies, but they're of course electronic. Does that make sense? So there's an
And
option.
people have the Google files themselves so that they can update it on their own.
Yes.
And to kind of back up what Amy was talking about, another thing that we would do in the breakout room was, because I was kind of a part of this one helping out, when we would lead them to questions and kind of get them to kind of talk about what they thought.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay. And those of you who got different versions, Michael, Kathy, Kevin, if there's anything that you think needs to be included from your versions, jump in here, okay? And this is the getting to know you slides. So these are so we've got from, these are the little papers we handed out for questions.
So can I just ask a quick, the getting to know you, are we talking like your 6 starting questions? What is that, the
Yeah,
beginning?
what's your
slide?
favorite color? What's your favorite TV show or movie? Here we've got my favorite, what's your favorite ice cream was one that we asked. My favorite thing to watch is, the weirdest thing I've ever eaten is, my hidden
So-
talent is.
So one of the things we did,
Yes, we changed up.
we changed up the questions because we kind of felt that those type of questions were almost,
I don't know, childish.
seemed a little bit for people younger. That was just our opinion due to most of the people we were getting.
So what were some of the questions you guys asked?
We did things like, Michael and I made a list, and we did weird things, like if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? If you got stuck on a desert island and you were allowed to bring 3 people with you, who would be those 3 people? Kind of
So-
just like weird, I don't know, weird
So
questions.
those sound like some of the beach ball questions from day 2.
But yeah, a little bit of the beach ball. Hold on, Michael's got his notes.
I'm looking for the certain sheet, don't.
Yeah, I know. What else did we do? We did like your favorite.
So the 6-question
Oh, did you-
exercise first.
What did you get? What do you have? I can't remember. My binder stuff.
I know, I'm looking for it.
Oh. I don't even know where my binder is.
Hey, Bob,
Yep.
what is that? The climb, is the beginner, the climber? I like the climber video. Is that was,
That's, yeah, it's at the end of the training for goals and outcomes.
okay, goals, okay. Off my head, I couldn't remember which,
And,
it was
you know, I don't know if you
beginning
know, I don't know
or-
if you know this, Kathy, but James White, who's part of this group, is the guy from that video or that
what?
that picture.
Yeah, James took,
James went with
supported
Ryan.
somebody to go climb Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro
Yep.
years ago.
James, I love that movie or video. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
picture,
incredible.
Yeah, you'll have to, when he's here next time, you'll have to ask him about it. Kevin, what are you guys doing for the initial introduction? Do you have people fill out answers to questions and
Do you want me to go
introduce
get my,
themselves?
see if I can find my manuals trainer?
Sure.
So basically, I just kept the question simple. Since we put in employment aspect in, so we still use what's your favorite color, etc.
Oh, I remember.
Last question would be, what is your dream job?
What is
So we
your
can
dream
get
job?
a lot of
That's a
people
good one.
idea just to see that like what they want. We asked question was that like, what was your dream job as a kid? So we asked those kind of questions.
That's a good one.
You got me.
But I really like the last question, my hidden talents is. I really like that because it gets to look at aspects about what people good at.
Mhm.
Because if you look at it that way, my hidden talents could go for like a point two. If they're good at anything. So.
So I'll talk to you later, okay?
So Kathy, James just arrived. You now have a fan, James.
Hey, do you want, you can watch, I'm gonna go see if I can find my manuals trainer.
We could make James look for it.
What?
We could make James look for it since he just joined.
I can only stay till 1:30. I've been dealing with stuff at work all day.
I
So-
understand.
Yeah.
James,
12:30 and yes, I'm
this is
alive.
this is Kathy. I was telling Bob that your Kilimanjaro story was so impressive that I still remember it this many years later. I don't remember many of the videos, but I do remember that one.
I remember it too. I remember it too. I still have sore legs.
Hey, James, did you
Thank
climb
you.
all the way to the top of the Kilimanjaro?
I took a guy that I worked with who had a diverse ability, and the two of us with a group made it to the top.
Wow.
That's
Hmm.
what is how high is it? 19,340 feet.
Ooh,
Good
That's
Lord.
impressive.
Find it?
I didn't
got
get.
questions?
Look how organized.
You guys, I'm sorry, I have to jump off. I've got a
I just
another
jumped
meeting.
on to take your
I
place.
know it,
Ken.
James. Don't take it personally. I will only say this to you guys because all the people in the other group aren't on this group. I would rather be here, okay? That's all I got to say. And
Okay.
I think it's brilliant. to go through every, go through every slide and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate this. It's really deep. It's tedious sometimes, but it's really worth it in the end.
I've done it a few times. It's worth it.
Yeah, it is in the end, Jane. I mean,
You get-
so
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to hear how this goes and have a good week.
Right, thanks, Jeff.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Jeff.
Right.
Bye.
So-
What do y'all think of just adding a slide that says, like, create your own getting to know you exercise?
That's what I was just wondering as well.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
like,
Bob,
we have the list of questions people can choose from.
Bob,
Bob.
we've got our BC questions that we put together.
Okay,
So we've done like my favorite trip is, so like a favorite trip you've been on or want to go on. Your favorite place to go. We have I love on TV, I love to watch. Favorite style of music, and instead of because I'm a big avid reader, instead of my best friend, I said my favorite book. Those are the questions that we use.
okay.
I really like that last one y'all used.
My favorite book?
Yes. I
That's
love
one of
reading
mine.
What's your
I
favorite
just,
book,
I
Kara?
happen to like to read, so.
anything.
Anything.
Yes.
Cool.
Well,
Maybe
anything
that'll be our
else?
next opening round question.
Could be. You're lucky you weren't here, James, because we did a very difficult question.
It was very difficult.
Students at the office? It's got to be.
All right. So some additional questions.
So what are we gonna do with that slide?
Do we want to have one where, and then we just have like a little list underneath that could have, like, I don't know, like a variety of different.
Yeah. And then
Variety of
people can just put
different
them on the
questions?
slide and that can be there.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you, when we do this in
Right.
person, I know what Kathy and I like to do is have people fill out a piece of paper and then we put it on a sheet that's there for the entire class so people can go see how many people have the same interests and get to know each other that way, which is kind of cool. All right.
I like that because you get to see, it's like, oh, I didn't know you like do that.
Yeah.
You know, but these people, some of these people know each other and yet they still find out new information.
Yeah. Okay, who has control over your life? Is this the video that you were talking about, Shelby? Or is it a different one?
I think it's a different one. I'm trying to remember.
I think this is the donut one.
Oh, yes, my favorite one. It's the donut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone think this slide stays the same?
That's kind of interesting. You say, who has control over my life using the donut? That's kind of interesting.
It's interesting. The video is interesting.
So you have to participate, fill out the donut tool,
No, it's
No.
not.
or is it something different?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
What did it say, Amy?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, it's two people and a support staff and an individual disability, and
Right.
she's about to eat a donut.
I want a
He-
donut.
Yeah.
You can't have
And
a
he says, I
donut.
want one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
says, she says, yeah, it's not part of your plan. And he says, person-centered plan?
Yeah, that's an open learning,
Yes.
open futures learning, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this slide, we
Yep.
want to keep the same.
Yes.
Okay, we may want to look at updating the graphics though, huh?
I think so
like-
too.
I'd like to
Yeah.
update the graphics.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely graphics.
okay. Okay, a break. So I know we take more frequent breaks in a remote environment. Would this be the same if it was in person? Lengthwise? from
We
where
would probably do 10 or 5 if we were in person. It's usually shorter.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering how much time, it doesn't look like we've been doing a lot of time, but I could be wrong. Uh,
So the way we ended up doing them, we initially I had put them in here and we timed it to about every 45 minutes.
Okay,
But then I just started actually hiding those, and then I would just set a timer so that I knew exactly, okay, it's been 45 minutes, since we tend to work with younger kids.
right.
Yeah, but it's still there in case anybody wanted to come back early and we want to play a game, then we had the links to click on and go play the emoji games.
Okay,
But most times they want those 10-15 minutes.
right. And if anybody has any physical assistance needs, they're gonna need extra time, so we want to build that in.
Great point.
Okay, empowerment. Which
This is the drum video.
okay, this is the be a Mr. Johnson or whatever his name is.
Mhm.
All right. And then go into the planning. Again, we will update. I think these slides are good and meaningful. It gets people thinking about things.
Yep.
Okay.
Update graphics on the one before.
Yes, yeah.
What's that video?
Oh,
It's of
Kayaker?
Eric Weinmeier kayaking the Grand Canyon.
cool.
I think there's
So we start with his story, and he is a person with a visual disability, and he's an avid athlete. And then at the end, we bring his story back, and we say, okay, he didn't just go out and start kayaking, and the next day he actually found a friend of a friend to teach him. So we talk about the relationship map and how that way helped him, and it took him 6 years, and he had to learn all these different things, how to communicate on the water. So we bring it all back.
So do you use that? Do you give all that information here? Or when we get to relationships, you kind of add more to Eric's story, or?
When we get to the end where we start talking about your action steps, then we talk about everything that he went through. So
Okay.
here we just kind of talk about, has anybody ever told you you can't do something because of your disability? Because that's kind of what he talks about, people thinking you can't do that because you're blind.
Yeah.
And then also asking, did he just go and get in the Grand Canyon the next day, or did he have to do something to prepare? And then people go, he had to make a plan. And we're like, yes.
You're good.
so
That's kind of, that's the same thing for the Kilimanjaro, was
Right.
similar sort of thing.
Yeah, not sorry.
when I'm looking at this, it's looking like there's more videos than anything.
There are quite a few videos because we're coming up.
And
on
that
time.
I guess that I feel like there's too many videos in this.
And is that
Well,
because-
I wonder, because we had people at the schools when we were teaching at the schools say they wanted more videos. So we have to figure out how
Right.
much is more and how much is too much.
Right.
And I'm
Well-
almost feeling like there's too much video.
and
Yeah,
videos
maybe
don't-
one to try out and see.
I think it all depends too on the audience, because Amy and I do the younger students, and so they ask for more videos, and so this is why we have done it. But
Mhm.
it just depends, like probably for you, Michael, your crowd wouldn't want as many videos, maybe. It just depends.
Yeah, just for me, I know me personally, I would want to see,
You-
and maybe part of this is my visual impairment, and that too, that if I'm coming from wanting to come and take this, I don't want to see as much videos. I want to be there to
Listen to people and discuss. And,
send.
yeah, I know. what
Yeah,
you're-
I'm just
you don't want to see what you can't see.
Yeah,
exactly, and I guess after a while, for me, I would just get very frustrated and want to walk out.
That's a very good
So-
point.
Here's the thing. I know that like so when I trained on the group of people in March, I know I had one person. She was a visual learner. So I think like Shelby said, it's we should be able to be flexible, showing videos depending on the crowds. That shouldn't be a problem because how I'm looking at right now, basically, wherever people that are retrained, I know that one for me, I train high schoolers these days. So with that, they probably will enjoy video more than anything else. And basically, keep it where that like basically still be visual. So it can be good for people in a way.
I think one way that we could look at doing it is we have the videos in there, but we can hide them if we don't want to use them.
Yeah.
And then so you can gauge
Yeah.
your audience or whatever, and if we need to use them, we use them. If we don't use them, they're still there. But
Right.
they're there for that.
One thing that I think we need to be mindful of is the videos do get some conversation going.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not knocking that. It's just for me, coming from a
Right.
perspective.
And what
I
I
agree with
would,
Michael. I mean,
But-
I love that the conversation, the videos do start conversations. So we do have good conversations about these videos, but I do see where Michael's coming from, where a visual just really might not like all these videos.
Mhm.
They might want to hear us talking more than watch videos.
So maybe the workaround is if you're not going to show the video, you have some sort of topic to talk about to get the same type of conversation going.
Very much.
So
That's a fair
that sounds like something that we are going to have to, or perhaps a small group. Michael, maybe you would be very helpful to be in that group. Think about what sort of conversations if we're not going to use videos. Is there anyone else who'd like to work on that?
I'll help.
Lynn?
Well,
and
you might as
Sarah?
well because
Yeah.
you're going to be on the same computer as I
I
am.
am, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
Uh,
make Bob's life easy.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this here.
Yeah, I'm not doing that to be kind of, I'm just being.
I know you get frustrated when there are lots of videos and something. I know you.
Michael, it's a really good point about accessibility that we need to be mindful of.
There's another thing in our plan that might need to go, it might be back a further, but one thing that we added to ours that Lynn kind of helped do is a working agreement if we're in person.
Yeah, and we have those, we have some slides here that were those working agreements, if the meeting's being recorded, if we're doing it remotely, or making sure that you're speaking your name, phones on, put away, no texting, only share what you're comfortable sharing. Here we go. Focus, respectful listening.
I
And-
think what Michael, and correct me if I'm wrong, what Michael was maybe wanting to convey is that we actually got the participants to create.
We
and
develop
own
it ourselves
and develop it.
themselves.
And it's very quick.
Yeah.
But to have that option within the training to do that, because it's very empowering to do that.
It creates ownership too.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing for us is that we want to create ownership. We don't want us to come in with, okay, this is the working agreement and here are the rules.
Yeah.
We want them to come up with it themselves.
Hey,
Right.
didn't you ask, Bob, didn't you ask people if that was all the question, all they wanted, or
Yeah.
they could add agreements?
We had a couple and then we said, okay, that's what we think, but what do you think? What do we-
Yeah, some examples, right?
Like James's example, PG-13 language.
Yeah, which we don't listen to.
No, we don't.
And I've always said, keep it above the belt.
Yeah, and
Listen to that one, James?
but do we always listen, James?
Well, you're just gonna get yourself in trouble, and I told you so.
Okay, so
Our
I know.
rule is we're all adults.
I know we've had some conversations about the old way versus new way, because the old way of planning, many people don't know what that is anymore.
No,
No.
true.
And
So-
did we not really discuss how we could pull that out? But we also got to think about trying to keep around that same idea, but what do you add in to replace it?
Well, and I'm curious about this video then. Sorry, Michael. The old way versus the new way of planning, and if the video showed anything, but I'm also thinking we call it the old way, but there are plenty of plans still that are focused on people being healthy and safe.
Yes.
And
Yes,
not having the
definitely.
Important
experiences.
two, important four.
Right, so maybe
It's
we
just
don't talk
dealing-
about the old way, new way, maybe we talk about what type of plan do you have?
I was just dealing with one before I got on the call. It was all health and safety, and I had to say we need to put some person-centered stuff in here before I present this to this family under adult guardianship.
Yeah,
So
I think
I'm
it-
not-
Go, I was just thinking that instead of old way and new way, I was thinking safety versus, safety versus,
Please.
your, like your own, not ideas, but goals, like, versus safety versus goals. Maybe.
Hmm,
Or how do we balance between safety and your rights?
right,
I know that for me, me doing like PCT and PPT, and I know that for me, when I look at the old way and new plan, I was always thinking about discovery. The reason why is I want to make that balance with person-centered thinking. So basically, I love the slides where you talk about new plan, pointing to you, pointing for you, how you stay safe, what kind of support you need.
mhm,
You can make a question that does around with discovery stuff. Basically on some redefining yourself in a way. So that like basically with that, but you still use the same information because I still love the same information on slide 21 because it pretty much getting towards the activities for a point to you, a point for you, and the balance between them in a way. So basically, you can find, I know from my slides that I use, I find ways to how can I basically make a new slide that talk about redefining yourself. And these are the questions that a person should be looking at. That is a point to you, point for you, how do you stay balanced, what kind of support do you need, what does people like in mind about you? I mean, all of that, I characterize that all of that as discovery, discovering yourself or exploring yourself. That's what I meant. I mean, that's exploring yourself in a way. So basically, it covers all these topics in a way.
so maybe we look, the new terms that people are always using is, we need to have a person-centered plan. And maybe we look at, is your person-centered plan focused on health and safety and all the stuff you don't want? Or is your person-centered plan about these 4 things that has all of the stuff that is really meaningful?
That's the word. Safety versus meaningful. I like that.
Safety versus meaningful, that's,
So is that kind of replacing the old way versus new way type of idea?
right, right.
I think we need to do that because some people have never had a plan before. So in the old way, unless we want to be historians, or do we want to? Because that's kind of what it is we're doing a little bit of a history, but
Right.
because a lot of people now, I go into the schools, they're pretty close to getting it right, and some of them are doing it right. So we're just helping them to be more involved in it. But they're kind of doing it person-centered, but sometimes the teachers' aides or whatever you call them, assistants, are still a little overpowering and stuff. So we're
Right.
just teaching them how to do it right. So when we say old way, they don't even know what the heck we're talking about.
What if
Just
we
drink my
looked at,
water.
is it a power over plan or is it a power with plan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one choice.
I like that.
Shelby?
You
Kevin?
can have a picture of somebody with a yardstick over a kid and then another.
You're taking me back to my Catholic school days.
Same here, Bob. The nuns liked whooping me.
That's right.
I like that power over
Why?
and supportive. Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Probably
idea.
worth-
I like that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. And then we
Man,
have
I
the
like that.
trainer's plan, which is great. Purpose of the workbook.
God, I did that training.
Forget-
There's
These
all
are
kinds
your
of
pictures.
pictures from trainings we did. That was in Portland like 12 years ago.
Oh,
Maybe we
wow.
need some new pictures.
Mhm. Okay, purpose of the workbook.
Yeah, that stays the same, you think?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Robert.
What do you think, hon?
I'm just good. It's okay.
Okay,
Oh, I hate this slide.
okay, tell me why.
Yeah.
The
why-
thing
why-
done right, I just, it's lengthy, it's hard to explain, that's.
So for you, shortening this slide would be the better idea.
Exactly. I realize the slide has to be in there, but it's wordy.
So, yeah, if we could take a moment and talk about this, how people handle this. Because people get really tired of writing and then they write in their plan. Kathy and I have always talked about it. The workbook is your draft. It's where you get your thoughts. And then what you want to share with other people, you put on your person-centered plan.
Yep, exactly.
But it's still a lot of writing.
It is a lot.
So, in our training, we actually did get rid of the writing down what you're thinking of and then transferring it to the plan because we were getting a lot of feedback of, but I'm writing the same thing, even though we tell them, really think about it.
Yes.
So in their plan, it doesn't have that extra page where you think about, write down the things that you like and the things that you don't like.
Yeah, the way we approached it was your draft is you writing down all your ideas. Some of those ideas you may want to keep to yourself. The stuff you want to share to other people, you put on your plan.
Hey, that's Ryan. He's the guy who climbed Kilimanjaro with me on the bottom there writing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I thought so.
That's cool.
Kevin?
So can this slide be part of the working agreements? Because this sounds like this could really be like a work agreement. You could, how we could explain it is to say in the work agreements, you could let some people write their plans, but if they feel comfortable, they could just share it and to be best comfortable.
That's a good idea.
Actually, I kind of like that idea. What do you think? Em?
Say that again. What did he say? I couldn't quite understand him.
So, Cap, oh, go ahead, Bob. You want to explain that? Do you want me to explain it?
Totally up to you. If you want to do it
So,
again.
Kathy, so I was saying that I know that Carol said that she found this slide confusing. So I was saying that what if we use the think then white in the working agreements? So in the first slides with the information,
Oh,
we could tell the participants and the supporters,
That idea.
you could just say that look, if you feel comfortable writing down in your plans, you could go ahead. Or basically if you feel comfortable sharing it, that'd be good in a way. And that could really give the participant more power over if they want to share it.
sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Derek, how about you? What do you think about that?
For me, sometimes we as South Dakotans, we like to, once we do in person like that, we talk about the old and new way to plan,
Mhm.
but at the same time, and then on the day 2 part, we had to have them do the home, or like day one, we had to do, have them do homework while they're
Yeah.
at home. And then on day two, again, we had them talk about it.
Mhm.
So
And-
that's another way.
And in South Dakota, Kevin, do you have people, Kevin, in South Dakota, Derek, do you have people write in their workbook and then write again in their plan? So they're double writing? individually
It's,
like that?
it's totally up to them of what they want to do, because we're not the ones that have to write them again. It's just that one of the things that day one, they can write their own plan. Two, they have to explain what they wrote in the workbook.
Mhm.
But because of what's going on, due to the circumstances, we have to really understand though, okay, is day one is going to be very, very busy, because we have to, for South Dakota, we had to wear name tags because sometimes they don't know who we are.
Mhm.
And same for you guys as well. When you're in a different state, we like to update each other on how things going and give each other feedback at the end.
Exactly.
That's another way to think about it. So my thoughts were, day one, have them write their plan. Two, explain, then they have to explain what they wrote.
Okay,
I'll just say, hey, can you tell us what you wrote in the workbook or whatever it is?
okay.
And then, go from there. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Kathy, how about you? If you had to, let's say if you had to do 2-day plan in your training course in Georgia, what do you think?
I think if you have ideas, to write it in the what I call draft
Mm-hmm.
plan, and then then you write exactly what you want in the report plan, because I mean I've always do it pretty much always have to do a draft before I do like a paper or a question or whatever. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I have a draft, and then for ideas, and then I consolidate it with the
Okay.
final.
All right, thanks, Kathy.
Okay,
Thank
so
you, Kathy. I'm just things to think about with this particular slide. Yes, it's very wordy. It's hard to look at, and we can reframe it, but we don't want to lose the message of this particular
Right.
slide, which is about discovery, about thinking before we grab that pen and start getting that final draft. Like Kathy said, sometimes we need to figure things out, do a draft.
Mm-hmm.
If we could make the slide a little bit easier or friendly to read, but still keep that very important message, because, and Kevin, you'll recognize this with person-centered thinking. One of the messages we like to send is we don't want people to sit with that template and just sit down and fill it out. It's that discovery, thinking, figuring out process that's so important before it goes into the plan, right? So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
okay.
I can see this. I can kind of see it from both perspectives. So I'm just trying, I can look at it from Kevin's perspective, but I also can look at it from the perspective of Lynn's. And I kind of lean, if we can shorten the slide, we keep it where it is and Lynn does it. We go Lynn's version. But in the other side, if we can't shorten that a bit, we need to, I kind of think it goes in the working agreement. Or is there a way we could take this slide somehow and create it into both areas?
Michael, one thing when you're doing workshops and stuff, you can mention the same thing more than once. So that's brilliant. So absolutely, if it working agreements at the very beginning, it's really important. If the students in, like when I teach, don't say share only what you're comfortable sharing, I bring it up because and then I keep saying it throughout the training. You know, so we can do it in both places, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shelby, what do you think?
I agree. We can do it in both places. I feel like we don't need to just look over it all together because like Lynn was saying, this gives them an idea of what they're gonna put in their plan and even what goes into the planning process, why you make this plan. So I honestly love this slide. I know I might be biased because I mean I use this slide everywhere, but I don't know. I just like to get the information before I do something. And it might be what you were saying, Michael, but I agree that we can put it somewhere in the beginning and then also here too. That's my 2 cents too.
Amy, Kara?
Which Kara, Bob?
Kara, from Canada, you started off this whole conversation, so we know how you feel about it.
I do agree with this. I
Okay,
do think that is a good idea to do that.
okay, so put it in both places. Kara, if we put it in both places and then maybe here, focus on the discovery piece,
Yes,
make it not so wordy.
yes, sir.
Okay, Amy, any thoughts?
I think that's good to put it in both places. I guess I'm just not sure if we're, and maybe we're just not to this point of, we're wanting them to, like, if we're gonna add back the, you know, what do you like, what do you not like, workbook pages in addition to the plan. And if that would be a place where we would have some flexibility if we want to offer it or not offer it.
Right, right. And I think there are people who like to do drafts before final writing. There are people who just want to go straight to the final writing. And so I think if we have that choice for folks, that's okay. The discovery piece, I do think is a really good point. We want to say, and I think what we find in this class is people discover a lot about themselves in this class.
So true.
So I'm looking at the clock. We've got 10 minutes left. And we have a closing round. If our closing round was anything like our opening round, we'll be here to 3 o'clock. So, or 3 o'clock Colorado time. So what do you say we stop here? When we get back in 2 weeks, we can start from this point. The next thing we're doing is the Who Knows You Best, Great Things About You, which probably isn't going to change. If it's okay with you, and if I have some spare time, I wouldn't mind playing with the graphics and showing some of that to you when we come back.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
Bob, sorry, just one more quick little thing. What you just said, well, we were going through that first slide, the purpose of the workshop. I didn't say anything, but I was thinking, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be nice to add, I think there was 2 bullets, 2 statements. It'd be nice to add something about the purposes, about discovering things about yourself. Not that one where I think it's further up.
Further up.
It was like the purpose or, oh,
I think it's right before Think Then Right.
oh, is that right? Oh,
Right there.
that's the purpose of the workbook, but at the very beginning, wasn't there something about the purpose of today? Or what the training was?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's
that one.
Choice and control.
Yeah, so I think it's before that. Oh yeah, help you help. Yeah, that one, that's it. And I kept thinking, but I didn't say anything. It'd be so nice to say it's going to help you discover and learn about yourself within that. I know I don't want to wreck the essence of the control and stuff thing that you might want to be sending there though. So
Very good.
But I'm gonna say that I think by putting that in, that might help the people who are taking it understand a bit more and feel like they know they have the control. And especially looking at it from a perspective of, let's say there's a supporter there, they're seeing that too, going, okay. So I think what Lynn's saying and putting that in might reiterate to those people that are there to support that, this is about the person who is taking this more than the supporter. You can't push that, what your thoughts are.
It's all
if
about
you're not-
empowerment. That's right.
it's like climbing a staircase. What do we need to talk about, think about before we get to control and all that stuff? Very important. But, you know, it's like we really need to look at ourselves and discover about ourselves. And then we talk about all. So just put one more little bullet in there, Bob.
Okay,
And then it's good.
Okay.
Good to go.
Kevin?
Yeah, so I remember when I talked to Jeff, are we gonna have a theme? The reason why I said that is because I know that DC, this train that our people putting together is focused on employment. And I told Jeff that like if we focus on employment, I want it to be like I want everyone sort of like I want everyone to be on the same page in a way, because I know that like DC folks, we was doing the people planning together on heavily on employment, and I don't know if cases in Texas, South Dakota, or Canada. So that's all I'm just saying.
So I think there's, just off the top of my head, there's probably two ways we could go there. We could put the slides in and hide them if we don't need them, but then that would make an awful long PowerPoint, or we could have separate versions. I like the idea of having the slides in there in case people need to use them.
Yeah, I like that idea. I know, Bob, one thing Michael and I've done when we've taught people planning together, if we have a smaller group, we make the supporters who come also make their own plans.
Even
That-
if we don't have a smaller
Small group,
group.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, even if we
Yeah,
don't
we do
have
that-
a
we do
small
that
group,
too.
they have to sit there and do their own plan. They don't get that.
Yeah,
Slack off and do support and work on your own.
That's something we came up with. Remember when Julie and we rewrote it, Bob? We talked
Yeah.
about how the supporters ended up taking control, and so
Right.
we would distract them by making them do their own plans.
that's right.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, and we've done that, Kathy. We usually do that.
Maybe
So,
we
okay.
need to put a slide in there that just says supporters, you're doing your own plan.
So I want to be respectful of people's time. We've got 5 minutes left. Quick closing round. What do you want the closing round question to be? It could be, what did you like about our meeting today?
I was thinking maybe something like, what slide would be is your favorite slide that you've seen so far?
That's interesting. Michael always got good ideas.
Okay. So
I
what,
know, I can come up with tough questions.
I want to put
what
back
is
my
your favorite
Kilimanjaro
slide so
slide.
far?
I'm being egotistical. I like my Kilimanjaro slide, and I have actually PowerPoint or a video when we're on top talking. But there you go.
Yep.
Oh, sure, James.
Well,
So
I like-
he's
I
gonna
like
make
the
me,
idea.
he's gonna make me spell Kilimanjaro.
It's. Can you see it there? No, you can't.
You could probably stop screen sharing.
KILIMANJARO.
I got it.
Did you get that?
Yeah, right on the first time. No spell
There you
check.
go.
Hey, Bob, you might,
Probably
I think we
Swahili.
could stop screen share.
I can, oh, you don't want to see me typing? Okay, I can do that. I was just making sure that everyone could see.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay. So, James, who would you like to pick to answer next?
Shelby. And that wasn't my real answer. I was being egotistical there. I like all the slides.
Yeah.
You go. First of all, James, did you get a new haircut?
Yes, I did.
I love it.
And no
That's what
beard.
everybody's told me.
I don't know. I
Thank
think we
you.
need to shave a bit more off there.
Uh-oh. Some controversy.
Oh,
Um,
no, this is Shelby. I just do that to get a harass.
So
James.
I would say I love all the slides only because like I helped do them and I'm biased on it. But the slides we were looking at today, I like the purpose of it. That's probably my favorite one of day one. It's talking about the purpose of the workbook and the old way versus new way to plan. And then that's when we get lots of feedback of, oh, there's a new way to plan. And so it's just cool to hear the feedback, but also in my mind, it takes me back to, yes, I have control over my life. That's how I plan. So that's my favorite.
Cool.
Shelby, you-
Oh, I picked, sorry. Let's go with Lynn.
Oh, you're a hard act to follow, Shelby.
Oh.
I like, actually, if I could cheat a little, I'm a little bit of a rule breaker, but I like the flow of all the slides and how they're connected. I love the idea of using videos to set the foundation for discussion that you can talk about later on as it flows, but also then thinking about, Michael, what you were saying about replacing those videos maybe with stories or whatever and having that versatility. And you know what? I'm just so happy to see everybody. This is my favorite meeting it is my absolute favorite meeting.
Yep.
And who would you like to pick, Lynn?
Kathy.
As I same with Lynn, I love getting with this group. This is the best meeting of that I usually have. Is like it's like even sometimes going like it's only virtual, so so I really enjoy it, and I think we need to look at the sometimes, as I said earlier, that you know some people like words needs explanation, but people like is it James's name that they can't read or they can't or it's so hard for them to read that it's easier just to see a pic. Sometimes some people, you know, as they say, picture is worth 1,000 words. And so I think that we could definitely have a balance between words and pictures.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Kathy, choose.
Huh?
Go ahead and
Okay.
pick somebody.
Go
Who do
next.
you want to go next?
Oh. Oh, what, have you gone?
Who? We've got Derek, Michael, Kara, Kevin, Kara.
Kevin.
So I like the strategy that we're gonna be doing. I had how we're gonna be tackling the old way versus the new plan. Just reworded and not change anything, but just reworded so that like it will make sense. But I think that like my favorite one might be is the trajectory aspect. I just want to see how did the Texas people, folks like Kara and Kara, how did they went about just explaining it, because I know before where I explained the trajectory, I just felt that it wasn't no guidelines, no questions. That was basically no questions that wasn't present, just to ask the participants. And also I'm thinking about what are we as trainers are looking for, and basically what, and the people that I'll be working with, you know, like James, I know that I'm working with my boss. What kind of guidelines are we looking for when we push out the trajectory? Are we trying to physically making them have like try to choose like a job that could be doable and manageable, or what? Because I know that like the people I train with these days, they dream jobs be all over the place, and I want to be respectful to them, because basically me as a trainer, I want to train.
See you later, gang. Sorry for interrupting.
Thanks, James.
No, thanks, James. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye. Sorry for
Bye,
interrupting, Kevin.
No, it's okay. You good. So yeah, those, you know, just that information. So I'm really excited about the trajectory aspect.
All right.
And who'd you like to pick, Kevin?
Oh, let's
Michael,
go.
Kara, Amy, or me?
Kara.
Or Derek?
Let's go with Michael. Let's go with Michael.
Okay, you're up, mister.
So for me, my one I really enjoy, because it's fun just listening to what the answers are from people that are is the questions. It kind of neat. The first 6 questions, because it's neat to see what answers they come up with, because you really find a way to get to know them a little bit, to support them, helping them do their plan. So it's a good way to start to get to know them a little bit. To think about, okay, so now you're going a little bit further into your plan. So remember how you're answering these, and why don't you, when you're going around, why don't you think about this, this, and this? So that kind of also helps those questions, I find.
All right. Okay, so we've got Northern Kara, Southern Kara, Derek, Amy, and me.
Come on, Bob.
Well, I really like the idea of power over and power with plans. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
I agree with you. It was just hard to choose one or the other.
Right. Derek.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. And thank you, Michael, for this. For me, I really like all the slides, but because I'm really excited to see all the I'm fine with videos, you know, it's because it really helps you learn. But at the same time, I like the introductory video telling them why we want to do people playing together, how you start the people playing together, and we should get to know each other by video so we can get to know one another. That's another way.
Okay.
So I picked Kara.
Which one?
Which one, Derek? Kara from here, Kara from the States.
Kara from Canada.
Okay. I kind of like all the slides, but I like how, even though we don't always necessarily agree with everybody's ideas, we can come up with a compromise.
But what slide would you say
is my favorite?
Which one did you see today that really stuck out to you?
I like the idea, especially for like the online training. So it's got the words, but it has pictures to go with the words. Because sometimes I don't always know what a word means, but I can go, oh, okay. So if I see this picture, this is what it, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, Kara, you're up.
From one Kara to the other.
Exactly.
So thinking about the kids aspect of this, I really love the important 2 and important 4
Hmm.
because it kind of
There.
at the very beginning of the kids figuring out, oh, you know, it's important to me to do this, where it's important for me to have this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the slides, but important 2 and important 4 are my top, is my top 1.
Awesome. And Amy had to leave, but she says her favorite one is a Grand Canyon video. It's empowering to hear Eric's story, and it's a great conversation starter about planning.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, you guys, just my idea, you know, we should give our recognition for people playing together for putting this work group together, but also we should tell a story of why we choose people playing together for our South Dakota, Texas, you name it, but also give awards to anyone who is on people playing together. That's my thought.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, but I feel like seeing the kids, to me, seeing the kids' faces when they're playing together and playing is rewarding enough.
Mhm,
What do you
Definitely.
think, Kathy?
Definitely, Carol. Hold on.
All right, folks.
Yeah, I was just gonna call it.
Our
you
next
guys.
meeting, is on June 3rd.
What
Okay.
was yours, Bob?
June 3rd. What was mine was the power over change.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
right.
So same bat time, same bat channel on
Okay.
Thursday, June 3rd.
And my birthday month is June 28th.
Aha. All
And
right.
we have our Texas people planning together meeting on June 2nd, which is Wednesday at 9:30 Texas time. So not sure what it is for y'all, but
Okay,
if you
Mine's,
need to go, I'll send
mine's
out a
central.
reminder.
that's
Hey,
8:30 Colorado
Kevin.
time, 7:30 BC time. Don't think that's happening, right,
Oh
Michael?
my goodness. You need to
Kevin.
listen.
You need a lot of coffee for that meeting, Bob.
That's right.
All right, bye, guys.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for all your hard work today.
Marco, you were saying something?
Call